New and interesting information has recently been leaked all over Reddit regarding Battlefield 1 and the weapons that we can expect to see in the game. This video is going to have a little focus on the handheld weaponry that we can expect to see, and trust me, there are some seriously cool items that I'm going to give you a sneak peek at and then show you a couple of photos of what they look like in real life. So starting off, we've got the list up on screen, and as you can see, there are absolutely tons, and we could really expect that. The same thing was in BF4 as well. We had loads and loads of weapons. Hardline was the same. Now we've seen a couple of them, as you can see, the pickaxe, the saber, the trench knife, the club, the hatchet, and the shovel. Now we've seen all these in action. They are absolutely deadly, and although slightly overpowered, the animations are incredibly cool. Now if we go on and look down the list a little more, we've got the spiked club, trench mace, and barbed wire club. These all seem like variations of a basic club with different attachments on the end. Now the trench mace is something that really excites me, because there's a possibility, as you can see on screen now, I've got a picture of one on the top right hand corner, there's a possibility that they might even opt for a Morning Star version, as you can see at the bottom, where you've got the mace itself attached to a chain and you could swing it round and bludgeon somebody around the head with it. Now I don't know about you, but that sounds pretty damn insane. I'm not saying they're going to do that, but they have called it a trench mace, and that technically could be a trench mace, so I don't know. We'll have to see what they come up with. We also have a huge amount of knives in the list. We've got the US trench knife. Again, these will be coming up on screen for you to have a look at on the top right corner. US trench knife, compact trench knife, obviously just a compact version, a survival knife, which would be fairly simple, a combat knife, and a sawtooth knife. The difference between the sawtooth and the others would be the edge of the knife. You can see that it's almost got teeth on it, so it would cause more damage and often be used for cutting things as well. Now I've also heard from a source that different weapons can be used to damage vehicles as well as enemies. So it would be interesting to see whether these knives would do slightly less damage to things, and obviously no damage to vehicles, but be quicker. So if you were on a complete 50-50 battle with somebody, you'd win if you were holding the knife. It would be interesting to see how that works. Now the really interesting ones that got me quite excited were the final four on this list. You have the Bartek Bludgeon, the Padorin Knife, the Bolo Knife, and the Beador Knife. Now let's start with the Bartek Bludgeon. I did a teeny bit of research just to try and find out what one of these things are. Obviously a bludgeon is just a big object that you can smack someone around the head with. Now Bartek comes from Polish origin, and apparently it means like a big tree or a big oak tree or something like that. So I can only imagine a Bartek Bludgeon would be something that's come across from Eastern Europe and been fashioned out of sort of oak, so it would be a heavy wood, and then that's what it's going to be. But they could be quite personalised, and it just got me thinking about what sort of factions are actually going to be using this weapon. So could we be seeing a more Eastern European theme in some of the maps as well? Now the next one is the Beador Knife, and this is really interesting. If you look at the picture I've got up on screen, the Beador Knife is really quite interesting. There's a large history behind all of these different knives, but the reason that this one stands out for me, not only does it look insanely cool, it's also got an option, and I'm guessing they will have an option to decorate the knife, possibly, because these knives were very, very intricately detailed, with the metal being shaped into different things, and often they were quite special to their owner. So it would be interesting to see in the game if they do make this an option for people to maybe change the knife, or you could have that could be the equivalent of dog tags. You could have it on your knife that way. It would be cool to see it, because there has been a lot of talk about modification of weapons in Battlefield 1, and this would be a way of them going about it. Next up you have the Bolo Knife. Now this one is, as far as I'm aware, from Filipino descent possibly, but they were used by the US Army in World War I and were quite often used by machine gunners to cut down foliage and stuff like that, digging, making machine gun nests and such stuff like that. They're a fairly big knife, and I'm pretty certain you could compare it to either the machete or the Bowie knife from recent games. It's just a big knife with a big blade on the end of it. This one could have some really, really cool animations, but I'm thinking this will belong to the US faction, and possibly the other knife that we talked about, the Beador Knife, will belong to the Ottoman Empire. Be interesting to see what they do though. Finally, we've got the Beador Knife. Now this one again is a fairly decorative knife. It's got a curved blade on it, and often the handle was curved in the other direction or was quite decorated in silver or whatever they chose to decorate it out, wood, metal, the whole lot. And they look really, really cool. Again, it would be put in a sheath that would hang on the side of the soldier. Again, probably meaning quite a lot to their owner, as they were fairly individual. So again, it'd be interesting to see if they do offer that customization option to this weapon. hopefully if you get quite excited about this sort of stuff, you'll have enjoyed this video, and I'm going to do another couple looking at some more of the data that has been leaked. A lot of it's on Reddit as well. I'll link some of that stuff down below for you to have a look at. If you did enjoy, please leave a like, and I'll catch you in the next video.